Hi everyone, welcome back to another exciting video and show here at K.L.P Entertainment. This is this morning's Unwrapped show. I'm your host, Kennedy Lucas. Welcome to another exciting episode. I'm very excited about this one simply because we're here in the studio. I've got my cast and crew, mainly my crew here with us, and I'm really excited to give you guys another exciting news show. But it's kind of a news show where we talk about current news, but in a corresponding setting. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this. I know my teleprompter's there. My producers are telling me stick to the script, but guys, I'm sorry. I'm excited. We hope that this show does wonders for us because we did put in a lot of hours with our setup. I got to thank my crew members that got this stage together, and it's been a long time coming for sure. And I'm excited for this show. Finally, back in front of the camera. Rest assured that KLP Aftermath is still in existing. We're not getting rid of all of our other shows that we've got planned up for you guys. We're just innovating, and here at KLP Entertainment, that's my mission, not only as CEO, but now as a news anchor, just giving you guys great content for our channels and our radio stations. So I'm very excited. Again, this is this morning's Unwrapped, and I am your news anchor, Kennedy Lucas. Now, this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, was BayTL. Now, if you were able to go to the Beyonce concert, I really do hope that you guys have had an amazing time going to that said concert. She was in town this weekend over at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and it has been a wonderful, fantastic time for a lot of people out there. I've seen it all over social media. Folks have gotten super excited when it comes down to her performance at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It was a rocking crowd. She has a staggering of 4 days, 4 days, 4 nights that she's doing her tour. By the time you're seeing our episode here this morning, she has another show on Monday, which is today. So I really do hope that everybody enjoy themselves, be careful, stay hydrated, but has enjoyed it. Now, one thing that I've seen for social media on when it comes to the Beyonce concert here in Atlanta is the mute thing, right? There's a song in there where she kind of mutes up for a second and everybody gets really quiet, but then she goes in, right? She goes in and she's doing her thing, and she's rocking the crowd. She's really getting in with the crowd. Very excited for that because she knows what she's doing. Beyonce's knowing what she's doing. It's a social media thing. It's an era, and everybody was outside. Now, personally, I do have quite a few friends and family members that went to the Beyonce concert, and of course, everybody's rocking the silver, either silver boots or silver hat, in remnants of her latest album, the Renaissance album, hence why she's on tour. And it's been very viral for the last couple of days. I was very stoked to see that happen. You know, a lot of people go out there and they're celebrating and they're going to go see Beyonce. One person, I saw it on TikTok, she about flipped her mind when it came down to her seeing Beyonce. Quite a few friends of mine did get VIP passes, and I wonder how much they paid, T. How much they paid when it comes down to getting front row VIP tickets to go see Beyonce. But it was very impactful. I saw my friend's social media, and he was able to see her up close and personal. It's a great experience. I've been to quite a few, I don't want to say concerts, but I've been to quite a few events, either at State Farm. I have yet to go see inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That is my mission throughout the year, or maybe beginning of next year, to go see the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But I have been in State Farm for quite a few events, and I'm very stoked that Beyonce was able to prevail. I was worried about a lot of people, right? Because, it was storming, right? It's storming outside, and a lot of people were outside and trying to figure out to stay safe from the storm and going to go see the concert. But it's good to see that no one was harmed, no one was hurt. It's good to see on social media that no one has received any hurt or pain from the concert. It's good to see that everybody was safe. Now, moving on to other news topics here this morning on the Morning Unwrapped with your host and anchor, Kennedy Lucas. Of course, I have to talk about a review, right? Now, there is a review that I am going to talk about here on set, and it's called Hijacked. Now, I forgot that I had 3 months free of Apple TV. So I ended up going and redoing and re-upping my Apple TV because a lot of podcasters, a lot of show hosts, they were talking about this show called Unwrapped. Now, Unwrapped is a hit new show from Apple TV. It's an Apple exclusive starring none other than Mr. Idris Elba. Very, very fantastic actor. He's been in a lot of great things, but I honestly got to say that this is a great work when it comes down to it. Now, Idris Elba is playing this character by the name of Sam Nelson. Now, Sam Nelson is traveling from Dubai all the way back to London. He had some business out there in Dubai, and of course, he's treating and he's going back on this plane. The plane is called the Kingdom Plane. His Kingdom is the company, but the Kingdom Plane. And long and behold, that the plane was hijacked by London citizens. So very, very exciting for this show because you have amazing cast members around this show. And I even told a lot of people about this show that this is a show that you have to, and I can't stress this enough. You have to go out and really watch this show and really pay attention to this show because this show is a show that every detail counts. Right, every detail is counting when it comes down to this show. It's a great, great show. It's the London terror, and I don't want to say London terrorism, but London citizens, they're trying to hijack a plane because of revenge, because of wanting the kingdom, the business, the kingdom to have their stock prices go down so that way they retrieve money. So they have to hijack the plane so that way it hits viral news and the kingdom business stock prices start to decline. Now, this is a heartfelt show. It's a mini series. I do think Apple is going to have this as a mini series simply because I don't think that is going to be, I don't think it's going to be a show that, what more can you do, right? You told your story, right? I wouldn't have not been upset if this show became a movie from Apple. I think it would have been a great movie. It's good to see the series, but it's a show that you have one season, you told pretty much your whole story. What happens next, right? Will there be another hijack plane that Sam Nelson is on? Which I think that might be the opportunity when it comes down to the writers. It might be an opportunity when it comes down to um, the writers getting back into the action of things. Now, a lot of people did feel the effects of writers out there right now due to the SAG and AFTRA strike. So a lot of writers are on strike, obviously, and they're not going to want to write for other shows as of late. Ooh, I had to get that cough in. But it's a show that I really do hope comes back very, very soon. Sam, he negotiates. That's part of his job. He's negotiating. He's fighting for it. I want to say his ex, the mother of his son. Of course, they have a son in there, and of course, you've had the lead roles of a lot of people around the world that's going through the trauma, that's going through the extreme trauma on a plane. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine being on a plane and having that situation happen to you. And I've been to multiple places. I've been on multiple planes in my past time, but it's a scary, scary feeling. And I felt that the film cinematography style of this show really make this show impactful. It kept me going. I binge watched this whole show because this was a show where you can watch one episode and you didn't tune out of it. You really enjoyed the show. And that's one of the things that what makes a good show. Idris Elba's playing this role, and turns out there's another passenger, right? There's another passenger that she had to help. She had to hijack the plane because her family was in danger, right? Someone, the lead protagonist, comes in and say, "Hey, we have your family. Your family gonna die if you don't hijack this plane." So towards the end of it, it was that oh crap moment, right? It was that oh my god, this is what's gonna happen next moment, right then and there. So it's very, very impactful. She goes in, she hijacks the plane, and she's not part of the London citizens that took over the plane in the first place. She's a whole different person, and everybody's like, "So who is she? Who is she? What is she doing now?" Whole different ball game when it comes down to it. Um, Of course, they all survive the hijacking, and of course that he survives. But then they have one last bout. Now the ringleader, he has one last bout with Idris Elba. It's amazing because you think, oh, okay, the show's over. Nope, there's more. Right, there's more towards the end. I want to say that the wife, her name is Marsha. Marsha is Idris Elba's character's ex-wife, I want to say, and you know, he says, "Call me," right? Call me because there's a plan here. She calls, and then the ringleader of the attacks, thought that he was in one of the bathrooms, psyched him out, got him captured, and now he's getting arrested. Right? This show is just so smart, it's so witty. It is a show that I recommend a lot of people going out and watching this. If you have Apple TV, you will not be disappointed. This is a show you're going to binge watch and you're going to really watch it. I was very, very sad for the pilot. The pilot didn't make it. Spoiler alert to a lot of people watching our show. Um, it's a show that the pilot dies and then the co-pilot doesn't die, but she gets hurt by the pilot because he has a whole family and kids, but then the pilot has an affair. This is a show, again, guys, you really got to pay close attention to detail or you're gonna miss it. Great show. I recommend it. Guys, go out and watch Hijacked on Apple TV right this moment. Now, one thing about our morning show here in the studio, of course, we do have Tyrus Lester here in the studio, and he's talking about some great sports news as well. I'm super excited for it. Tyrus, what do we have today in sports news?
Bryce Young, I think he was the best college quarterback. They're my shock team in the NFL. I think they're going to win their division. Nobody else does. What are you hearing? What do you expect? I don't know why no one would pick him to win the division. If you look at the quarterback situation, it's second best in this division. And look at their roster. Defensively, really good. And they bring over a fantastic defensive coordinator. The offensive line has a lot of young pieces that are pretty good. And they have enough skill position to make it work. But it's up to Bryce Young staying healthy. All the things we knew about him in Alabama, great study habits, great pre-snap, great post-snap, all those things are true in Carolina. It's just a matter of health. It's can he stay healthy the first week of the season when a 330-pound defensive tackle falls on his shoulder? Is he going to stay healthy? That's my only concern with him. Otherwise, he's hitting every mark. I was told in the offseason program he was changing plays on line of scrimmage like a veteran already. He's doing all the things that he was in Alabama. We know those things are true. They showed all the time on his film. The question for me, Colin, is just health. Is if he stays healthy. I'm with you. I picked Carolina, I believe, to win the division as well because I think they're the most talented team if Bryce Young can stay healthy all season long. Eric Bieniemy was in Kansas City for years, but I've said that the question is always, and you see this in companies, you got Andy Reid, Brett Veach, Mahomes, you don't know how much is really him, right? You see this with companies. Executives will leave a great company, go out on their own, and they don't do anything. You see it in bands. A guy leaves a band, goes out on his own, nobody buys the records. So I look at Eric Bieniemy. He's at Washington. A story comes out this week. The players are like, whoa. He's too harsh. He's too intense. I'm not surprised by the story because everyone who's played with Eric Bieniemy, and he was the running back coach when I was there for a year. My brother was there 5 years. He's an intense coach. He's an intense guy. He's a passionate football coach. The question is whether that translates to good offensive design, to good play calling, to getting the best from his players. There have been plenty of coaches in all walks of sports that are very talented individuals. Does that translate to being a teacher, right? So if he goes to Washington and the offense is good and Sam Howell plays good, doesn't matter how intense he is. If the intensity takes away from being able to teach, being able to coach, and get his players better, that's where you have the problem. Right now, we don't know because they haven't played any games yet, and it's really tough to judge him, in my opinion, with Sam Howell's quarterback, right? They're not giving him an opportunity, and obviously he knew what he was doing when he signed there, but Sam Howell is the fourth worst quarterback in the division, or he's worst in the division. Like, what are they going to do with Sam Howell that makes you feel great about the offense? So, to me, it's not about the intensity or whether or not that intensity is hurting his ability to coach up his players and get him in the right position to be successful on Sundays.
Tyrus, of course, for the sports news, Tyrus Lester joins James Myers, Christina Collin, in our other hit show here at K.L.P Entertainment, Sports Talk. You guys do not want to miss it. Sports Talk is a great show that they talk about sports and they really get into it. So again, don't miss out on it. Now, I wanted to talk about some entertainment news. Of course, with our show, The Morning Unwrap, we do talk about what's news that's coming out with the correspondentness of our show, and I have to talk about it. Now, we all know about the latest lawsuit coming from Lizzo. Of course, Lizzo is in a big lawsuit that suited up for workplace harassment, and they say just harassment in general for the general broad statement within her lawsuit. Now, at least six more people are considering joining the lawsuit against Lizzo, says the plaintiff lawyers. We do have an article coming from CNN. I'll read it and then I will discuss it here on the morning unwrap. Now, the attorneys for the plaintiffs in the compliance against Lizzo tell CNN that at least six more inquiries have come in from other people with similar stories about the singer Lizzo. Now, Ron Zambrani, the plaintiff's attorney and a partner and employment litigation chair at the West Coast Employment Lawyers say, and this is a quote, guys, we have received at least six inquiries from other people with similar stories since we filed the complaint. Now, Lizzo has been sued by three former dancers who claim that they were subject to hostile work environment and harassment while they are employed as her dancers. Now, these are the three brave women that spoke out. This was Noelle, Crystal, and Ariana. They have bravely spoke out and shared their experiences, opening the door for others to feel empowered to do the same. I do have to say to a lot of artists out there, and I know typically with this topic we talk about it on our podcast show, but I feel like celebrities do have to be careful nowadays because when you are a performer, and I'm sure Lizzo is she's a great performer now. She's making a lot of money doing her thing. But when you are an artist and you're out there and you're not taking care of your employees, aka your dancers or your backup dancers, your backup singers, it really leads to a lot of complications. It leads to a lot of lawsuits, right? Where and I'm not saying that these three women are looking for a paycheck. I'm not going to go there here on our show, but let's just say that, hey, they realize that we're going to get paid because Lizzo is a superstar. She has millions in the bank. So they're looking to say, hey, we may not want to be her backup dancers anymore, but yes, we're going to get a big paycheck from this. If this is true, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the ins and outs of this. This is an ongoing investigation out there, but they probably going to get paid really, really well because of this lawsuit. And it's unfortunate. It's very, very fortunate that this has happened, but it will happen, and the judge might swing it their way. I also do say, whether it's when you're suing somebody, if you're on strike, or you're going against the company you work for, I do have to say you might be blacklisted. I pray that these three women do not get blacklisted from this, but blacklisting is real, right? Lizzo might tell these three young women who if they go to another singer, another performance, they're looking for backup, and they say, "Oh, you backed up, you danced backed up for Lizzo. Okay, let me ask her about your experience, your performance." Lizzo might say, "Oh, they're horrible," right? She might say, "Oh, these ones, they're horrible," just in spite of that. That's the term blacklisting. So it's kind of risky to sue somebody. I do feel for people wanting to speak out and wanting to go out and just express how they feel if they're getting harassed. I know a lot of jobs that I've had before where I've been harassed and I spoke out on it, right? Because we are all human. We're all have the power to do that. I always say, and I'll say this on this show, never let nobody push you around, right? If you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like you're getting harassed, don't let nobody push you around. Obviously. Now, CNN has reached out to Lizzo's representatives for comment. Now, the complaint filed in Los Angeles Superior Court last week and obtained by CNN also names her production company Big Girl Big Touring Inc. and a person described as dance cast captains as defendants. Now, one of the three plaintiffs, one of the three women, said that she was encouraged by the singer to take turns touching a nude performer while at the club at Amsterdam's red light district while on tour this past February. Now, despite having expressed numerous times she had no desire to touch the performers, of course, another plaintiff said that Lizzo expressed veiled concerns about the plaintiff's weight gain, according to the lawsuit, resulting in the plaintiff feeling pressured to examine her weight gain and disclose intimate personal details about her life in order to keep her job. I see. I'm not on either side here, but I see why Lizzo's getting sued. If you're asking an employee about their weight gain, it's a little bit sticky, right? It's a little bit sticky. That can conclude as a lawsuit. If you're asking somebody about their weight, if you're asking somebody about their marital status, if you're asking, going deep into their religion, those are lawsuits, right? So you have to be careful about that. The way they should have went about it, maybe, is that, hey, we noticed this. We're gonna make sure that all the dancers are healthy enough. That's the word there, healthy enough, so that way you can maintain the stamina to perform. Because if your stamina's off and you're dancing a little bit at a slower pace than other dancers, then we might have to cut you because you have to build your stamina. See, it's wordplay, right? If you're going up to somebody and say, "Oh, you're fat, you're gaining weight," yes, that's a lawsuit. Absolutely, that's a lawsuit. But if you go and say, "Hey, I noticed that your stamina hasn't been where it's always been. Are you okay? Do you need a timeout? You need a break? Do you need one of our trainers to help you build your stamina back up? Because we have kind of a quota with that." That's wordplay, right? If you play around the words, then you would be fine. But if you go up to somebody and say, "Hey, you're fat, you're gaining weight, what's going on?" Yeah, that's rude. Number one, that's rude, right? It's rude. But you're not understanding that words do make an impact, and how the way you express those words, and you're not getting that word across comfortably, then that employer, the employee is going to feel threatened. Hence this lawsuit. I really do hope that this lawsuit goes out with the greater good. This is a very, very sticky situation for Lizzo. Um, I know she's going through a lot right now when it comes to this lawsuit. So I hope something gets resolved. I hope these women get some sort of resolution from this. But this is a sticky, sticky situation. I really hate this for 'em. I really do. It's a sad dynamic. Now, coming up next, of course, we've got the wonderful Miss Monica Gray to give us our tech news here on the Morning Unwrapped. Monica, take it away.
Samsung has titillated us with the mention of the industry's first 256 terabyte solid-state drive. To put that amount of storage in perspective, you could fit nearly half of the average Steam library on there. And this technological tease occurred during the Flash Memory Summit, not to be confused with the Flash Bulb Memory Summit, where thousands gathered to discuss the horribly traumatic things they've seen. Samsung said very little about the upcoming SSD, but did mention that the drive uses 7 times less energy than if you were to combine 8 32 terabyte drives to get the same level of storage. And to put that in perspective, imagine pitting 8 evil Kevin Hart clones versus 1 Dwayne Johnson, and then you realize that's probably the premise for a movie being made right now. It's in a jungle. It's in a jungle. There's a lot of ad-libs. It won't do well. Samsung also showcased their new PBS SD architecture, a petabyte scale ultra high capacity solution that allows capacity changes based on context and automatically asks for more public funding. For mainstream consumers, the company unveiled their new PCIe Gen 5 SSD that will offer capacities of up to nearly 31 terabytes and features sequential read bandwidth of 16 gigabytes per second, more than enough to download 8 Hearts 1 Johnson the minute it releases. Multiple new vulnerabilities have been identified in both Intel and AMD processors, with fun names like Inception, Downfall, and Zen Bleed. continuing to prove that security researchers would have started a death metal band if their parents didn't make them go to security school.
Thank you, Monica, for our latest in tech news. Of course, you can check out the latest in tech news on our channel at K.L.P Entertainment and also on our radio stations of Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6. Now, our one last moment here on our show this morning, The Morning Unwrapped. If you're just now tuning in, hello, welcome to our new show, The Morning Unwrapped. I'm your news anchor, Kennedy Lucas, to give you guys the latest in news. Now, one last moment here on our show. I have to talk about this because I'm intrigued about this because financials are the main point of us here. Everybody has some sort of financial obligation and financial services that helps them not only live their lives, but to help take care of the things that they need to take care of in today's society. Now, coming from, of course, the news here, with the banking issues and financial scams on the rise, customers are facing an uphill battle when something goes wrong. Now, this is a great topic of conversation because financials is very important, very important, and online banking is also uh, is they're very important. I know a lot of banks have increased their security measures when it comes down to online banking, making sure that if you're signing into your bank account, you are the person that's signing in and you know about your account, what you have in your account, and what's available for transactions. Now, it has never been difficult. This was a news article. I'll read it and then I'll discuss. And it has never been difficult for customers to get response from their financial institutions in a timely manner. But experts say about a week ago, an unknown number of Wells Fargo customers were suddenly unable to withdraw money from their accounts, even as it sought to address the issue, which customers first began noticing back in August 3rd. Wells Fargo acknowledged a limited number of customers were still having difficulties 24 hours later, leaving some of them unable to withdraw funds for critical needs. This is a scary time for not only Wells Fargo. I'm sure a lot of banks have had the same issue. Chase have had issues like this. Bank of America. I'm not even going to go in with Bank of America because they've been through a lot. Now, for Wells Fargo, it was the second time this year with such this problem had occurred. Now, the bank declined to comment. For NBC News, they reached out for an explanation of the exact cost of scope of this issue. More recent, further investigations found that third-party imposters were creating fraudulent accounts for the bank, Wells Fargo, to which the bank declined any wrongdoing and said the problem was widespread across the financial service industry. I do believe Wells Fargo with that simply because banks banks are certain banks are making it more easier for people to create said bank account. Now, banking with a lot of people, when you open up an account, they do check your credit score. They do check all the credentials that you need to open said bank account to make it harder for imposters to use your social security number, to use your personal information to create said bank. Now, it's been spread around the whole banking industry. So Wells Fargo is not the only person that's going through it now. At least one other bank has also left customers scrambling to withdraw their money after an outage of unknown origin. Some depositors with Great Bank, which works with Walmart amongst other third parties in providing financial services, said that they could not get money out of their account for days, even weeks. That is a scary thing. It's a very scary topic. Is a very scary thing for a lot of people because we do rely on banks. 90% of Americans do rely on banks to put their money into a bank account because it's more secure that way. I do say to a lot of consumers, I do say to a lot of Americans out there, if you're in, not only just Americans, but everybody, humans in general, watch out for these said banks. Watch out where you're putting your money in these said banks, and also keep a track of your account. I know for me, I check everything every day, every time, every minute. I'm checking everything to make sure that there's no fraudulent, to make sure that there's no unexpected withdrawals, to make sure that my accounts are safe. So I do say to a lot of people, out there, please watch out and be very, very mindful of your financial situation, whether it's a bank account, whether it's a savings account. I also do want to stress, watch your credit cards, right? A lot of people are finding ways to scam you out within your credit card. So watch out for your credit cards as well. So that will do it for our edition of this morning's Unwrapped with your host, Kennedy Lucas. I really do hope you guys enjoy our show, and we'll be back definitely for newer episodes for Monday morning Unwrapped. Before we go, please check out all of our content over at K.L.P Entertainment. And if you're watching the YouTube version of this, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel because we love to see our subscribers. We love to get you guys notified when we upload our next content. Again, this morning's Unwrapped. I'm your host, Kennedy Lucas. Good morning, Atlanta.
Preview.